But I want to say, I think Iraq, although it's a dominant, enormous issue for America and the world right now, it is not the only issue to restoring America's moral leadership. You know, you look at the issues that exist all around the world. First of all, the world needs to see from us that we actually understand our responsibility. And as the most powerful nation on the earth, we don't just have a responsibility to ourselves. We have a responsibility to humanity. And when we fail to meet that responsibility, there are consequences. And we've seen the consequences. This is not, you know, there's such good things for us to do out there in the world. I'm going to talk about a few of them in just a minute. But the truth of the matter is this is not just a feel-good thing. I'd love to feel good again. I bet most of you would. But it is not just a feel-good thing. Because it is not too much to say that the future of the world is at stake. Because it is. You know, when America is not leading, we are the stabilizing force in the world. And when we don't have the capacity to lead, when the rest of the world doesn't come to us in times of crisis, when Iran, Ahmadinejad, the president of Iran, tries to get a nuclear weapon, when Kim Jong-il is testing both weapons and nuclear weapons and missiles in North Korea, when Hezbollah is attacking the Israelis and fighting is going on in the Middle East, if the world doesn't rally around the United States of America, they have no place to rally. And there is no central force that stabilizes the world. So this is not some abstract, feel-good thing. If we want to be safe and we want the world to be safe, we have to provide that stabilization. We, America, does. And that will not happen unless we actually have moral authority in the world. The one thing that's been proven, beyond, I believe, beyond any doubt in the last 6 years, is raw power alone does not make you a leader. And the world recognizes that. And look at the opportunities for greatness for America. Really. Right now, there's a genocide going on in Western Sudan. That's what this bracelet is that I have on. Western Sudan and Darfur. Hundreds of thousands of people have been killed at the hands of the Janjaweed militia. The Janjaweed militia supported by the Sudanese government. The Sudanese government propped up by the Chinese, buying oil from Sudan. And America declared this a genocide. That's great. What have we done about it? What have we done? We said after Rwanda, we'll never let this happen again. Some of you remember the phrase, not on our watch? There's a genocide going on our watch, right in front of us right now. Where is the United States of America? Where are we? There are thousands of children who will be born, not tomorrow, today, in Africa with AIDS, simply because their mother can't afford a $4 dose of medicine. How can the richest nation on the planet stand by and watch that happen? How can we let that happen? Poverty in America, which I'm going to say something about, as I've spent a lot of time on it over the last couple of years. Poverty in America is actually very mild compared to poverty around the world. And I know all of you know this already. But I had a personal experience. I went to spent some time in the slums outside of Delhi about a year ago, actually, a little over a year ago. And the things I saw there made it hard for me to sleep, honestly. I mean, the conditions in which people live. You know, you walk down these little alleys and there's open sewage and animals everywhere and people literally stacked into these rooms that go up on each side. And finally I came up on this little opening and it was about the size of this roped off area right here in the middle. And there were these 4 blankets on the pavement, the broken pavement. And there were kids sitting on each blanket. And it was the same kind of conditions. There was sewage everywhere, flies, animals. And finally I figured out these children were in school. This was their school. And I walked out of there and all I could think to myself is, where is my country? Where is America? And we can't solve these problems by ourselves. I don't think that for a second. That's something else that's been proven in the last 6 years. But what we can do is we can lead others to the cause. And we have to demonstrate to the world that we are willing to do things because they're in the best interest of humanity. We need to demonstrate to the world that we're willing to do things that don't appear to be in our own short-term strategic interests. But I'm here to tell you, they're in our long-term strategic interests And they're very much in the long-term strategic interests of the world. And it's not, by the way, just what we can do over there. We should be the example for the world. I talk about moral issues. Let me talk about another huge moral issue, global warming. And America should be leading on global warming. And those Americans who think, well, this is something for later, you know, maybe my grandchildren will have to worry about that, but I don't have to worry about it. Anybody who can hear my voice in this room, if you're under the age of 60 and we don't change, there's a great chance that you're going to be affected by global warming. We can't continue on this course that we're on right now. We just can't. We can't continue to be our addiction to oil. We got to make a real change toward what I would call a new energy economy in America, where we actually strengthen the American economy by investing in, you know, wind and solar and biofuels, and by asking America to be patriotic about something other than war. By saying to America, we ask you for your country to be willing to conserve. We have a health care system that's dysfunctional by any measure. I had a mom who's in this room somewhere, who's a supporter of mine, a great friend, and has a son who has some challenges. And she was telling me that her health insurance premium has gone from $1,000 to $2,000 a month since she met me just, you know, 3-4 years ago. And she said, how can I continue to pay this? How can I possibly continue to pay it? And she's just like millions of Americans all over the country. You know, we got 46, 47 million people who have no health care coverage. Listen, the answer's simple. We need universal health care in America. It's what will make America better and stronger.